Yeah. Let's go. They can see that I'm the legend. Got the gold in my possession. No doubt in my mind, no question. I hold the keys to my successes. Greatness lives inside of me. Cut me open, bleed royalty. I've never known defeat. That's for the weak. For the throne, you better show loyalty. Nothing can stand in my way. I look it right in the face. I'm never slowing down. Yeah, I'm winning this race. Can't hold me back. Can't hold me down. It's time for me to own it now. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level.
Oh man, I still get hyped from that setup.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
Welcome to episode 26 of Cow Tech. I'm your host, Adam Ross, and I got my guy Tyler to my virtual left here.
Hey, what's up?
Man, we have another great show lined up for you guys tonight. And man, thanks for joining us. I can't believe we're 4 shows in and we're still not done the main products of CowRC.
There's plenty to go. We're not anywhere short of content.
Oh no, but we want to get a few things out of the way, and obviously you can see from the new ticker below. I don't know if you want to bring that up, Tyler, and then we can kind of get the show rolling.
We last episode 25, we started kind of doing something special where you could order some awesome CowRC products during the show, and you get an extra bonus product. Well, it really kind of took off with everybody last episode, so we wanted to bring it back again, and so this time we're going to change it up a little bit more. So between now and the end of the show, if you order through the CowRC website and spend $50 or more using the code Cow-Tech, you will get a free double micro screw box included. So it's a $7 value. So make sure you put in Cow-Tech. You also get your 10% off in addition to that order. So it only lasts from exactly right now until the end of the show. So as Adam and I are talking about some stuff, we're going to talk about magnetic mats today. So if something tickles your fancy, get in there and order it. $50 or more, and you get a free gift.
And man, with these magnetics, it's going to be easy to go down that rabbit hole. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely. You can never have too many. So it's always different. That's what we're going to talk about today is all the different ways you use the mats and how we use them, and answer some questions about that.
Yeah, kind of our personal favorites as well, and what we use at the track, at the home, at the trail, you name it, we're going to cover it this evening. So as you can see in front of Tyler, man, he has the new Reaper setup on his brushes. They're looking dialed. Unfortunately, I chose to go to the track today. Mine are still naked, but Heath was nice enough to send them to me, so I will definitely get my green stream my theme on green stream 3. Oh my god, I couldn't even talk. But I will have my theme on the brushes and my ultrasonic cleaner coming up in the next show for sure. And I definitely want to show it off and how we can actually install it. Also, Tyler has that beautiful stand there, which is rocking the taller brushes. Those brushes.
No, I've got all the stickers. I'm big into stickers. So I and actually, speaking of the block brushes, I got so excited about putting these on. I didn't pay attention to the numbers on the bottom, and what it was supposed to mean is kind of the stiffness of the bristles, and putting it 1 through 6. And I kind of just started lining up the brushes. I'm like, okay, cool, let's put this on. This is going to look really cool, and it looks really cool. But I missed the point of it. So when you guys order your block brush skins, think about the 1 through 6, either the 1 being the stiffest or 1 being maybe the softest, and kind of going through that way. So that way it gives you, or if you don't care, just put them on and make it look cool. That's what I did. So to each their own.
Yeah, either way, they're pretty phenomenal. And what skins did you end up going with on the other brushes?
Oh, so I did the green streak for the bristle brushes and the reservoir brushes. And then this is the Reaper for the block brushes. And then did the hot rod for new ultrasonic cleaner.
Nice. That cleaner looks awesome, and
It's
man,
really cool. So, like, I mean, look at it compared to like the original one. I mean,
yeah.
how much bigger it is. I mean, it's got the nice carbon fiber touches you can add to it. It still has, so it's got the when it comes, I'll kind of go into it a little bit. So we've got the screen that you can add to this, just like the original ultrasonic cleaner. This ultrasonic cleaner has this standard top that comes with it. This automatically comes with it, but when you upgrade to the screen, you can get a carbon fiber lid to it, which is even cooler. So, and the awesome thing about it is this is rechargeable. So it comes with a little recharging cord, has a 3-minute and 5-minute timer, or just on as long as you want it on. So it's got, for the size wise, it's much larger in size compared to the original one. It's almost, I think it's 40% larger. So you can fit a lot more stuff in here. It's got the same good power. I think might even be a little bit stronger. So really cool. And the skins, I really like the skin part about it. They just stick out. I thought it was really cool. Larger look to it.
And Matt was asking, what's the difference besides the size? Well, if you suction cup it to a solid surface, you will have a little bit better cleaning. Not only that, it's got a built-in battery that's USB rechargeable.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a huge new feature compared to the old one. So the new Sonic cleaners and the timer. Now, it also came in at the exact same price as the original. So,
well, that's I mean, really, it's honestly, you're almost getting 3 times the amount of options when you talk about size, recharging, the timer. I mean, it's really 3 times the amount of options compared to the original one for the same price. So it's a no-brainer. And the new ones, so the pre-orders actually shipped already. So everyone who's ordered these should be getting those here momentarily. And this is going to be our go-to ultrasonic. This is, I don't know if we're carrying these anymore, the original ones, but if we do, they're very few and far between. This is our new ultrasonic.
The flagship now. Yeah, it is awesome for sure. So obviously we had a whole thing set up for the mats. You can see the mats behind me. You can see the mats behind me here. You can see Tyler's beautiful mat setup, which is obviously one of my favorites, but we want to kind of go through from the beginning. I think would be the best way, because there is the pre-order of the solder mats. And what I want to do is I actually want to bring that up just so you guys can see how cool these actually are. These are the new silicone mats, and they are now available. I know I see that 8-10 minutes ago, but yeah, so the silicone mats are ready for pre-order, and it's 20% off shipping around May 1st. Show and demo will be in May, and production samples are 2 millimeters thicker and laid perfectly flat. So he has put so much time and engineering into it. Not only do they look amazing, but once we start talking about the mats, I'll give you kind of what happened to me with soldering. So you will see firsthand kind of, what to avoid when doing that for sure.
Well, and if you're curious ahead of time before we get our hands on the prototypes to show you on the show in the near future, check out Mark Santa Maria's YouTube page. He released a sweet video about 2 weeks ago. It was like 2 weeks ago, or starting tomorrow, of the solder mat. So he got one of the early release ones, and he was, flinging solder all over it, touching it with the iron. It's not meant for the iron to just lay on it, but the whole point of it is so it's burn resistant. So you're not going to mess it up by, splatter going on it. You accidentally kind of, touch it with your soldering iron for a second. And that's what it's designed to be there for, is to protect all your spaces so you don't make a mess of everything.
Scott, I think knows. He might know what I'm about to show when we start getting through the mats. But obviously, one of the best ways to figure out what mat you'd be interested in getting is to head on over to the CowRC.com website. There you will find all the information on all the mats, all the links, and once we start going through the mats on the show, we can answer any of your questions. So if you do have any questions like pertaining to the actual magnetic mats, we're going to go through the flat mats. We're going to go through the work mats. We're going to go through the stealth, the carbon, the mouse pads. We're going to do it all, but we do want to start with the basics. So
yeah, and Joe has a question here about the 20%. Is it automatically deducted off the order when you order it from the website for the solder mat? And the answer is yes, Joe. So the pre-orders are automatically discounted. So you'll notice if you go on the page, it should show you that the 20% discount. So you should be good, Joe. There's no special code on that.
So that was for the solder mats, right?
Yeah, that's right. For the pre-order.
That's
what he was asking about. Yep.
So just click on the solder. Yeah. And then you can see everything is on pre-order. So it actually has the pricing right there and then with the discount.
Well, so and here's something you may have missed, Joseph, is if you place an order, even if it is on pre-order, and you put in Cow-Tech, you get an additional 10% off of that already discounted 20%. So if you missed that, sorry to hear that, but there's plenty of cool stuff that you can order still yet today, and then get yourself the free double micro screw box included with your order for $50 or more.
So where do we want to actually start with the magnetics? Because I know that we got quite the arsenal.
I've got all of them sitting next to me in small form, so I'm gonna start throwing stuff on the table. But maybe the first thing to do is let's talk about magnetics in general, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about where these come from, how they're made, and how they get to you. And so all of these magnetics are handmade, and there's really just one person who touches maybe 95% of these mats is touched by one person's hands, and that is the leader of CowRC. And so he hand makes every single one of these that comes from his shop to your workbench or your pit stand, which is really cool. So it means everything's made in the United States, which is really cool as well. And this is a proprietary magnetic. So this is not a material that is sold somewhere else that is getting just relabeled. This is 100% proprietary. This is made for CowRC. There's other magnetic mats around, but they do not have this type of magnetic strength. So there's some weaker ones, and I don't know which one came before, and it really doesn't matter because this one is stronger than the other ones around. So it's just a really cool, small. It's very cool to be a part of something that's a very intimate industry. So it's a small shop that's making these really cool, unique products and really helping out people in the industry.
And speaking of that, it's not just RC. They use it for doing like the cell phones. They use it for doing gun cleaning. They use it for so many small maintenance related items, and they also do it for RC.
Well, that's a very good point. So so CowRC sells this mat. So you might see, so you might say, Tyler, you said this is only CowRC stuff. How come I see a cellular company using it? Good point. That's a good question. That's because CowRC is selling it to them. And CowRC is selling it to firearm dealers for, they're doing the same thing. They're taking apart guns and there's springs and screws and stuff like that. Kind of the same deal. It's organization. It's the magnetics. It's the whole principle can go over multiple. I mean, cell phones, probably thousands of little parts and pieces going all over the place and using those, these mats to keep them organized as well. I mean, I use these mats for my full-size vehicle. Of course, my screws are like that big, but hey, it's better than them laying all over the garage floor.
Yeah, Tom brings up a good thing too, because having the right mat setup for the conditions that you want to work in is going to be clutch for you. Now, obviously, we can get into a whole bunch of different scenarios and setups, but as long as it makes it easier for you, it will become more enjoyable to wrench on your vehicle, which is what, in the end, is what we want. Because, man, everybody hates losing screws. Everybody hates having stuff roll off the table. With these, you will have that worry no more, especially when you're pitting in the grass like I was today. Magnetic mats, the carbon series mats, and my multi. Yeah, honestly, they have really changed the game. I would have to say for sure. Holy crow, that's a pretty custom mat right there.
Yeah, it's one of my many work mats. This was a nice enough size to throw on a tabletop here because I do have some large ones that just aren't going to fit. So I tried to figure out how this is going to work best for the show and show off some different types because there's, like Adam was saying, is there's not there's not one size fits all. It's different sizes, different shapes, different organization, different tops. We didn't talk about the laminate protective top coating versus the non. So that's something as well. So we'll kind of start getting in that to a little bit more elaborate here as we go through the different types. But I figured might as well start with the work mat, right?
Let's do it. It's one of the best ones, in my opinion, especially with the raised foam. It's not where it's very hard. It's still comfortable to work on and be over top of, but it has a nice pocket for all your small little itty bitty bits and screws and pieces. So when you start taking apart the front diff, say, or the center diff or the rear diff, each one can go in its own separate pocket. Now on Tyler's mat, he's got the bigger pockets to each side, which makes it good for the axles and some crawler stuff for sure.
Well, and honestly, I mean, I've been on the CowRC team for almost 6 years now, and I just recently understood why there's 6 different pockets. And so what that is if you think about a car, you're going and I'm gonna get this all messed up because I'm not mirror image with myself, but you got front, center, rear, and then right and left. So when you're taking apart, I honestly never knew that, and that's why you see this on every one of the, I think, medium through extra large is this 6 pocket setup in the center, and then these outsides are like maybe for like an axle housing or a diff or whatever, some of your bigger parts. But that's what it's for. Is it's right and left, and then front, rear, or front, center, rear.
Awesome.
And that was honestly the reason that was done is so I don't take my vehicles apart that way. I kind of go, okay, rear. Let me dismantle that. Let me put it back together. Done. I guess I get too confused when there's all kinds of stuff. So I take mine apart in thirds and put it back together. So, but for those folks that just tear it all apart, and that's what these can be used for.
No, that's awesome because I was close. I knew about the front, center, rear for sure because the 6 square is awesome for that. But the left and the right, I'm going to actually start implementing that now too. So Kevin's right. We are learning something new today.
Yes, I learned that just the other day, and I see a question here that, did you show this one up yet? Can you order custom size and configuration?
I did not because I was going to touch on it a little bit later because I started.
Hold on, that's a good question. It's a
great question.
Oh, you already started. You're already ahead of me.
Yeah, it's all good because I know that you got all the mats that we can show off. Now, this being a work mat, this one's completely custom. And you'll see that you can actually get the ones from the site and go through the ones on the site. So let me just pull up the site here while we're doing it. We're going to scroll up here, and we are just going to go to the magnetic fit mats. In here, you will see all of the different ones. So since he's talking about the work mats, which just happened to be one of my favorites, you can see that it starts off with obviously the XL medium small work mat combo all the way down to the big bad mambo jumbo there, which is the XL screw catcher. And you can see that one is basically the biggest one that they offer without any pockets. The cool thing about that is if you need maximum work surface but still need that protective lip, that is the way to go. And obviously you can choose all your own options and look at all the different pocket configurations that are on this. It's it's basically endless to what you can possibly do for this.
Oh yeah. And that's the cool thing is, I mean, in to the question that was touched base before is, yes, you can order custom, and we'll talk a little bit more of that. So if there's something that still doesn't meet your needs, there is something that can be made that will meet your needs. And I mean, you're talking about, custom headers. So if you look at, my header has my name on it. And Heath does this for the factory team drivers. So really cool touch you can do. And I know Adam's got custom headers for his race team. So there's lots of cool things you can do with these. And then plus like the protective coating on it as well. We'll kind of show that off here real quick. See if I can read right upside down. There we go. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's not bad. So yeah, so I mean that's the cool thing about these is the and kind of going into the protective gloss coating top is originally it was there to allow you to have this ability to write on your pit mats, and Adam will kind of give some explanations about how he uses it, but keep notes, keep track of sizes of screws and things like that. But honestly, what I like it for is the durability aspect of the mats. I don't write on mine too terribly much, but what I find is it keeps the mats a lot cleaner. It keeps them looking good. It keeps them a little more protected from anything that's going to blemish them, or scuff them or anything like that. It just kind of it's like a wax. I'll almost, it's not a wax, but I'll kind of do a metaphor of a wax on a car where it kind of allows a little bit of a smoothness, a little bit of a reflectiveness. So that way you can, anything brushes it and scratches it, it kind of brushes off and doesn't leave a gouge. So I like it for that aspect the most.
Yeah. And honestly, the one thing that I like about the laminate and the white, it's awesome for getting your content and pictures and having a clear black background for it. Now, I know that Scott said he uses his as the whiteboard for designing RC parts. It is awesome. It's so bright and easy to light up. As you can see kind of behind me, I got the Work Mat, but it is a stealth series, and I love it for on-road because I'm not easy on my mats. I like to sauce my tires, and having the black mat definitely doesn't show the blemishes as much as the white, because the white, if you're going to have tire sauce and all that crazy stuff, you want to make sure that you take care of it. And speaking of taking care of,
I like that comment. Hilarious.
Yeah, definitely want to have that.
You might want to like carve that into concrete, possibly, but sure, if we can help you with that, that's no problem.
Yeah. So for the work mats, you want to make sure that you take care of them. It's a big investment, and you want to make sure you get the best bang for your buck. Now, the first thing is please, please, please don't roll it. Keep that sucker flat. That's why, in my opinion, having the work mats at home is a game changer. It is always on my pit stations. It's on my daughter's pits area. I got the other one set up. I'm lucky where I have one just set up for content. And honestly, I got upset when I came home, my kids were working on it. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? They're like, oh, Dad, it's just a good setup, right? But I like to have a dirty one. I like to have a clean one, and obviously the content one. You guys have seen my other show. I'm always working on the one behind me, and this one is for the Cow Tech show. So I have a little bit different setup for Cow Tech, obviously, but it is so cool to have different options that fit your specific needs. Now, if you're not interested in actually having the work mat style, they even have the flat mats that you don't have to worry about. Now, the flat mats, when you actually use the flat mats, you can get the laminate on there or the non-laminate. But what you want to do is when you're rolling it, you want to ensure that you roll the laminates in a particular way, because if you don't, you always want to have the laminate on the outside. So important, because there you go. Because it can become delaminated. So please make sure you always follow the instructions and do that. If you're not sure, please, please, please reach out to one of us, and we will definitely work our magic with you. And we'll tell you what we know, what can make it last longer, and steer clear of the tire glue. Yes, Dino,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, no tire glue on that bad boy.
And going to the rolling, kind of go to elaborate a little bit further, is so a lot of people tend to want to roll them like this. And
Yeah.
the reason they want to do it is because they want to protect the white. Well, you're doing the opposite. What you're doing is now you're taking the laminate and you're crunching it and you're distorting it. And so what you're doing, if, let's just say you travel on the plane or something like that, and you take, I mean, these are great to fly with. Put this and you fold it like this. Well, by the time your flight, you get, I don't know, whatever, 6 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is in your bag, you're going to start getting creases in your laminates, and it's going to start delaminating. So that's why you always roll it up like this. And the rule of thumb is to do about a 6-inch diameter. So when I'm rolling it like this, it's not because I'm trying to show you, it's because this is how it should be rolled. You don't want to roll it super tight. Again, it starts delaminating and starts distorting. So, and the rolling part is a temporary solution. You could leave it there a few days, but you don't want to store it like that. It's for a travel purpose. And kind of a pro tip on any of the magnetics is keep the boxes that these are shipped to you in, because that is the safest method of transportation these mats are ever going to see. So, when you get a work mat, like Adam said, they are stored all the time flat. They should never be rolled even for a second. And the reason that is because these borders will become delaminated. So if you start rolling it and messing with it, they start getting delaminated, and your purpose of having a work mat is ruined. So the way that these are shipped are flat like this. So keep that box. And then the same with the flat mats. These are shipped to you like this. These are going to be shipped to you like this. Keep that box, because it's going to have it in the exact same size that it needs to be rolled in. So it's really just a free portability option for you. Keep it safe.
Yeah, and one of the things that I got to say is do not leave your tires on the magnetic mat. It definitely will increase the chances of staining. Need moose sauce for tire sauce. Yeah. But there is that thing. You want to make sure, like Tyler already said, go over the instructions. Heath puts all of these in the box with all the magnetics, and it's a super easy read. Cleaning your mats, oh my God, it couldn't be any more easier, especially now that he released the hide wipes. You guys seen that in our previous episode. Make sure that you're always using the soft side of the hide wipes, not the I guess corrugated side or the rough side.
Right. And I'll give you a tip on the work mats again. So the part that I found when I first with CowRC that I started getting into is I would get these work mats too saturated with cleaning or water. And so what that happens to do is it starts delaminating this. This is an adhesive. So this is a raised 1/4-inch foam edge, real stiff foam. And it's an adhesive that sticks this to the mat. And so if you use too much cleaner, like if it's I'll call it pooling, or even like Dawn, dish soap will clean these off. But what it does is it starts delaminating this. And so I started seeing that happen on mine. And the reason I was adding so much water to it is because I would get like little parts. It was when I was doing a lot of like indoor clay racing. So you get your car shook down, and little tiny pieces of clay get stuck everywhere. Get stuck in the corners and stuff like that. So my tip to you is to shake this out. So shake it out over a trash can before you clean it. Take your my jet blaster isn't here right now, but take your jet blaster if you have one, or any compressed air. Clean it off of all the loose debris before you start using any type of moisture, like Dawn dish soap, a hide wipe, the part and chassis wash, anything like that. It'll just it makes it so you're not using so much chemicals,
Chemicals,
and it will keep this adhering a lot longer.
Yeah, it'll definitely get the longevity out of it. And depending on how you're actually traveling, one of the tips that I'll throw out there is when we bring all of our kids' mats and stuff like that, I'll actually leave it in the flat boxes that it came in, and I'll slide it underneath our bed, just the mattress itself. So it keeps
Oh,
it completely flat,
good
and then
idea.
that way you're not worried about it. And then you have the extra protection of the mattress on top of it just to protect that. That's a nice mat. I'm loving the stealth stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
They're so cool. It just looks like it's like oil. I mean, look, you
Yeah,
can see my computer screen just
in the
shines
reflection.
right through it. I mean, you can almost see it. And this has the protective gloss laminate on it as well. So that's how these. That's the only way that the Stealth series is made, is with that protective gloss coating. Now, obviously, you can go ahead and write all day long on it. Not going to really do anything for you. But the cool thing is it gives you this awesome reflective look. It's a really cool backdrop. To change it up a little bit, if white isn't your thing, or you want to do some different, I actually I think it's kind of cool. You can put a part tray on top of it. I mean, it's something that's a little bit different. You can kind of make it look like that, make it pop out a little bit more. So you can kind of mix and match. And this is a flat mat. Adam held up the work mat version of it.
Yep.
And the cool thing, actually, we should mention, and maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself, is these part trays stick to them, so it's magnetic. So it's sticking to this flat mat based on its own magnetism and the flat mat. So you're almost can create your own work mat if you want, or AKA hybrid mat.
Yeah, you can actually be as creative as you want with that. Now, they come in different sizes, different configurations. My favorite is the 4x4. I give it to each of my kids because whenever we're at the event, I use them for body clips and I use them for wheel nuts. Those things go missing like crazy. So you have your magnetics there, and look at that. You're not going to miss those at all. And like, I even got the springs there for my clutch. And before, I was worried about losing them. And you can see that those puppies aren't going anywhere. So you can actually dump them out of a bag like you just saw, and you're going to have those things put. Because if you're not running nitro indoor. And typically you're setting up in the grass. And if you lose one of those little itty bitty springs in the grass, the lawnmower is going to find it before you do.
I mean, these little set pins, like for drive shafts, they only give you like one, right? You can't. It's these specialty fasteners that you don't have more than one spare, and the minute you lose it, it's gone. And that's the cool thing about this magnetics is not only does it keep you organized with all the different pockets and trays and things like that, it's the magnetism is what's helping you. Is so these aren't gonna stop anything from you winging it across the room. That's not going to stay in there. But to just have an mistake and you just bump it real quick. I mean, even like this, like I'm hitting this thing and it's not really moving, like because it's sticking because it's a magnet, so it's really not even moving. You really have to hit it really hard or flip a table over, whatever, to get it to jar loose. But it's really neat because you can just kind of you can see that really well there.
Yeah, but like
perfect.
Yeah, he was asking how you can see the black. So obviously I have silver, gold, and black on there, and I'm pretty sure you can see the black ones. But yes, that was a great question, Scott.
Yeah.
Because the black is a little bit challenging, but I'm not gonna lie. I've been kind of like stepping it up. I got these awesome red anodized screws now, so I've been kind of like dressing it up a little bit. So so the red on the black obviously matches great. So I'm going to be kind of looking for green now to match all the green streaks themes and kind of transition to the green with that. But obviously I'll have my cow set up, but then I have to have my S-Work stuff too. So it is cool to have. But like the black on black, it is a little bit more challenging. The reason why I enjoy the stealth mat so much is because we're in the on-road season here in Canada, although today we did get to play outside, but right now we are in indoor. So for the on-road stuff, the black stealth mats have just been a godsend. And honestly, it is a little bit different for me from what I'm used to. I've been with CowRC for about 8 years now, and the white is amazing for pictures, amazing for seeing because I'm going blind a little bit, and for catching the parts that I drop because my dexterity is not quite what it used to be when I was a few years younger. So having all those options to kind of bail me out, it makes wrenching on your stuff that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, and like, look what I just kind of created off of some part strips and a Stealth Series mat. So you've got, you know, an ability where you can create yourself a cool. You've got some contrast here. You know, you've got some white part trays and a black Stealth Series mat. Makes it a little bit more interesting. What I would do, Scott, you know, in this situation is I would take, you know, my chassis and I'd plop it down here, and I'd put my parts, maybe my screws here, and maybe my parts up here, and you organize it how you want. You know, you can throw them on the side like this. And like I showed you before, you know, put one, if you have a larger one, might make more sense to put one on top of it, but it's all magnetic. So it's all going to like start sticking, you know, together. And you can really kind of, it's like a transformer. There's so many different sizes and shapes that you can put together that it's really, possibilities are endless.
It truly is. And as you can see here, this is my setup that I like to work on the most. So I typically don't have the black here. I just put this on just to kind of show it off. So typically I don't have this mouse pad here either, which is another one we'll get into a little bit later. But this right here is my work area. I actually have the laminate protecting on it, and you guys can see all the parts that I have currently on there. And it's in case I have to go to work, I have other things I have to do. It is going to be exactly where I left it. So when I come back, I know that this is going to be all my wing mounts. I know that this is going to be all my gears, and this is going to be my transmission and steering parts. They're not going to go anywhere. And you can see it keeps everything in because it's all a work mat style. Now, the flat mat is actually really nice because it, for whatever reason, gets damaged, gets dropped, gets destroyed. You can actually just buy the replacement mat, and it goes on with the graphics here perfectly. And when he actually started telling me about the flat mats, I actually started doing it on my other location. Now let me show you what I mean, because it is one of those things that just increases it big time. So you can see this is the hybrid mat, but what's right underneath it? It is a smaller flat mat. And the reason why I have that is when I'm doing all my work over that, if I cut this, that, and the other, I don't wreck my custom mat with my name on it. I just wreck the small little work mat, and then I can just replace that if I need to. And your other mat is always going to be looking dialed for all your content and pictures.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, that hybrid mat is awesome. And so like the hybrid mat, there are, if you look on the website, there's also a section for hybrid mats. And what are we talking about hybrid mats? It kind of is like what the definition of hybrid is. It's the best of two different worlds. So you have a flat mat merged with a work mat. And Adam, if you don't mind, throw that photo back up there, or go to the website. Either way. Yeah, show yours some more. That's really cool setup. So I have a hybrid mat. Mine I don't have access to video to, but yours I have not seen that style before. So I really like that style. I think it's got a ton of little pockets for it. I love what you're talking about, having the protective sheet on it, so that way you're just compromising a small portion of it and not the entire part. I mean, that's the thing is hybrid mats are expensive. They are our most expensive mat. And you need to find ways to keep that investment intact for a long time. And Adam's shown you exactly how to do that. And I do that same thing with mine. Is I'll call it a sacrificial magnet or magnetic sheet on it, so that way I'm only working on that and the hard parts. You know, so obviously we're using the whole mat because it's not just for show; it's for work as well. but you're just putting your hard parts on that sacrificial sheet.
Now, I don't know if you guys can see the difference. I just wanted you to see that this one here does not have the laminate, and look at how shiny the one is beside it. You can see
blow yourself up there. So show can you just enlarge yourself there? I think we can see it if it's just a little bit bigger.
Okay, so we'll go like that, and then me and you are going big, bud. There we go. So
okay, cool.
There we go. So you can see how much shinier it is just on the actual white portion. And not that this is dull, or sorry, this side is dull at all, but just having that extra protectant and the ability to write on there. I know a lot of people were talking about some of the tips that they were doing and writing on there. And you're right, Kev. If you are running multiple classes, having that ability to write when you're up next is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I like how you do it, Adam. You're racing with your kids, and you need to keep track of heats and what position you're in, and it's changing all the time. I mean, it's hard enough to keep track of yourself, much less two others.
Nice. Hey, John, at least she is using it for RC. My wife is using it for her cricket and something else. So I'm like, oh, man. But it is kind of RC related because she makes some stickers for me. So I guess it's not. It's more vivid white. Yeah, no, for sure, Tom. You can definitely tell the difference between the laminate and non-laminate. And I just wanted to show you guys because the laminate is a little bit more. And even if you're not going to be using it to write on, just having that extra sheen, protection, and pop is worth it, in my opinion, just for that. It is a huge difference, Dino, for sure. It just gives it that little bit extra. And I'm telling you, it is definitely worth the little extra it costs to have that protection.
Oh yeah, I like it. I would order every mat with it. And Adam, I don't know if do you mind pull up the website? Maybe can we show everybody what the additional cost is for the protective?
Yeah, and see Dino's question.
Oh,
I don't believe it does.
No, not at all. I mean, you're putting another magnet on top of it. So you're not reducing the strength at all.
All right, so we'll go to the one that I was talking about earlier, the XL, because the XL, everybody wants an XL. Let's face it.
Sure.
You go big or go home. So here is where you have the option of the headers. So if you don't want a header, these are all of the options that you can get. You can get the Patriot, the Dragon, the Green Streak, my personal favorite, hint, hint, the Reaper, which is pretty badass too, and the Hot Rod, which is not too shabby as well, because honestly behind him is the Hot Rod theme.
The Hot Rod.
Yeah, the Hot Rod is not too bad. And then here is where you're getting into the dry erase friendly Protective Gloss Laminate, and this is different for every size mat.
Right.
I just want you guys to know that is very important. So this one, it's an additional $20, but it will protect your investment big time.
Yeah. It's honestly it's a game changer. Like Adam showed, there's kind of like a gloss versus a flat, and the flat looks great. I think it's a really good look, but the gloss protective, it is a protectant. And then in addition to adding the ability to write notes on it, especially if you're traveling, going places, maybe at home it doesn't make a lot of difference to you, but like what I do at home is I can't tell the difference between a 10mm screw and a 12mm screw. So unless I want to go, and what I would do is I will take let me just show you real quick. I will just take like screws and I'll plop them down on a flat mat, put a circle around them, and say like 10mm. And then maybe these ones are 12mm, put a circle around it and put 12mm on it. And that way it keeps me from putting the wrong screws. Because sometimes you're like, what's 2mm, doesn't matter. Sometimes in a situation it does matter. Sometimes 2mm too long is a problem, and sometimes 2mm too short is a problem. So having that ability to just not lose stuff and start putting a new kit together wrong is a time saver. It's might be worth that extra investment.
So obviously we are already running up on time, which is crazy, and we haven't even said about giving anything away. So I'm gonna say we should bring up what the phrase is for the day. What's the phrase to get paid? We'll bring that up real quick. So Mega Mats,
Mega Mats.
hashtag Mega Mats. And right now, what we're going to be giving away is what? It's going to be the small
work mat.
Small work mat. So
Yes.
all you got to do is hashtag Mega Mats, and you will be entered in. There you go, Dino. Oh man, Dino was the first one out of the gate, guys. Come on.
Yeah, he's on a hot streak there for a while, winning everything.
Yeah. So obviously, you just have to hashtag that, and we will get it to one lucky individual. So the cool thing about the flat mats is it's the only option of having a rollable magnetic white mat. Now, even the one in front of him, you can roll that to the 6-inch rule. Keep that in mind. Always laminate out, magnetic in. And obviously the work mats are a little bit better for catching stuff, dropping, this, that, and the other, but it's got to stay flat. So depending on what you're looking at and how big of a workstation you have, and let's face it, heck, what are you working on? Are you working on a little itty bitty 24 scale? You can get away with a much smaller mat. If you're working on a big, I don't know if you guys seen the new Traxxas Slash Max. Holy cow, that's a big truck. You might need the XL. So it just kind of depends on what you're working on. Now, are you going to the racetrack and you're just having a table like this where everybody has like the standard card table, I would call it, or
Right.
table? Yeah. So I know what my personal favorite is, and eventually we will get there. Tyler might be leaning on it, but who knows? And we'll just talk about all the options that are truly out there. And having that one is definitely cool to see. Yeah, and XR is definitely a big beast. I think that's a 6th scale, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it's almost a 5th scale.
Or 5th scale. I might even be a 5th scale.
The XRTs are massive.
I mean, and honestly, so speaking of like 5th scales and such, so those are massive. They're massive trucks. They take up an entire 6-foot table. Let's say entire 4-foot table, right? And let's just say you don't want to go with the mega size magnetics for that truck. There's always the part strips, right? So you could get a handful of these and almost surround your vehicle on all 4 sides with some part strips, right? And have an ability to keep your truck. Let's say it's bare on the table, no magnetics underneath of it, but you have all these part trays around it, just as some extra protection and extra. Well, I should say protection, extra organization and protection for your parts. That's something you could do as well. And then these things are just so cool. You can travel with them really easily. Again, they do want to stay flat, but you can get various sizes of the part strips and trays and put them in a bag. You put them in the back of your truck, your car, and you throw them out on your tailgate of your vehicle, on the hood of your vehicle. I mean, it's just, I take these in a backpack wherever I go. This is larger than what I would take. Like what I would take probably in a backpack would be something like this or something like this size, where it's very easy. If you just have a wheel nut come off and need to replace it. Let's say you need to take off your body clips. Putting body clips on a little piece of magnetics like this is a lifesaver because it's going to stick on here. You just set this in the dirt and it's good. You're not going to get it lost in the mud, in the grass, leaves, whatever, and it stays there. And you don't have the pain of trying to find body clips or asking somebody else for a spare. You're being independent on your own. You're not asking for help. You're just letting the tools do the work for you.
Agreed. And honestly, the smaller ones, like I know you got the 2x8, right?
Yes.
And these ones, they're awesome to make custom mats and areas and stuff like that. Like my original custom one, which Jeff was asking about earlier, you can make anything you want custom. You just have to reach out to Heath. You just have to have a duffel bag full of money. So if you don't have a duffel bag full of money, you might not want to get right into that. But let me bring up this picture here. This
Well, the
is
cool thing with like the customization, I mean, like I was showing you my custom header. Adam's got his custom header. I mean, you can make
baby.
if you've got the graphics, you know, anything can be made.
Yeah, Dina's like the CowRC credit card. Yeah, honestly, the whole thing is pretty cool. Oh, I mean a 2x8. LOL. So now he's stepping it up. So you know what? I do think that we should give away 2 things tonight. So
Okay.
I would like to give away the small work mat. So that'll be the first. But as a constellation prize, I think that the 2x8 would also be something really cool to kind of give away, because it's a great sampler and that's something you can put right in your backpack, take with you on the trail, and not have to worry if you have to get into a little bit of maintenance in an area where you're not familiar.
Great idea.
You got to be careful with that stuff. So let's just get rid of this. Don't forget, you got to hashtag Mega Mats in order to get in on it. And I see that we still have Instagram viewers, which is super cool, but you have to make sure you comment on one of the things that we can, which is Facebook or YouTube. If you're not on Facebook or YouTube, unfortunately, you don't have the opportunity to win.
And since we have like 10 more minutes in the show, that means you have 10 more minutes to order something on the website of $50 or more, and you get a free double micro screw box included with your order. So make sure when you do order, you use the code Cow-Tech, which will also save you an additional 10, or will save you 10% off of your order in addition to that free gift. So make sure you got 10 minutes left to do that. At 9 o'clock, it's cut off until we do it again in 2 weeks, perhaps.
Oh yeah, nice.
Maybe,
we got a couple more. Yeah, a couple more entries coming in, and honestly, an opportunity to put on this show is a huge thanks to Heath and providing us with some of these demos and all that stuff, so we can share it with you guys. Can we block Dino? Yeah, actually, I deleted his name, but he did it again, so he's back in it somehow. Yeah, he came back.
I don't know. It's been a while since he's won, so he's kind of. I don't know. I don't know if he's even won this year yet. He was hot there at the end of last year. I don't know if he's won this year yet.
So it's been a year since he's won, eh? All right. So we'll have to see.
Should we talk about our question that we wanted to ask the fans? Is that a good time to
yeah, because there's only like 6 minutes left. So I definitely think it would be cool.
So CowRC has been playing with the idea of introducing a pit light, a pit setup light system. And you've seen there's some other various typical lights around that are foldable, have a stand, have a phone charger ability. And what Adam and I were curious about is if you can put in the comments, what are you looking for in a pit work light setup? Are you looking for different colors? Are you looking for a chargeable, battery operated, phone charging? Are you looking for it to shoot out fire? What are you looking for in a work light for your pit setup?
Because I know for me, having the power supply for my chargers, it has 2 USBs. So I need a pit light that can plug in via USB. Now, if it has the ability to charge my phone, that's great too, because then it just reduces the extra USB port that I would have to use for my phone. Then I can use it for my GoPros for creating the content and other stuff. I'm always short of USBs for whatever reason it is, but it is definitely to do.
I mean, portability is a big thing for me. I mean, the one I have fits in. I mean, it's like that long of a box by that big. And I know the prototypes we were testing, not you and I, but CowRC's testing, are half of that, if not a third of that size.
Yeah, for sure. So small and rechargeable would be good. Yeah, so if we can get all of your comments, I see them coming in now. This is great. LED lights for sure. Phone charger is awesome. And US charge. Brian, you read my mind. Like, that is exactly kind of what I'm looking at too. Rechargeable would be great. Kat says it can't die at 2 in the morning. That might be the O-Town fun going a little bit late there, but that's for sure. A light that's bright, foldable, and a tool holder or parts tray.
Ooh.
See, not bad. Not bad.
Cool
That's
idea.
the outside of the box. Phone charger, small platform, and how to use
Sunglasses.
when in use. Oh, yeah.
Funny today.
Tall enough because many of them are short. Not a
Yes,
bad
that's
idea.
always my problem.
Definitely portable, a case to stow away.
Nice.
Yes, that's
I like
not a
that
bad
too.
idea either. Yeah. See,
Good
man,
comment.
this is why we ask, because some
Yeah.
of the good ideas have come from you, the actual viewers,
Ooh.
and having you guys interact is why this show is so much fun, and we're able
That's a
to
good one.
cool to run off of like a
mean, They make soldering irons, soldering
and
stations
engine
that run
warmers
off
and
of 3S.
everything. It's crazy some of the stuff that I'm able to run off my battery now.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Honestly,
you know?
I've seen people jump car batteries with RC batteries.
Me too.
It's scary. It's terrifying.
Lightweight, long battery life, and extra USB ports. Yeah, and you know what?
Extra
Even
USB ports. Okay.
even if it has like a decent base, the tool one was a great suggestion.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that I never thought about that. That's good. I mean, it's almost kind of keeping this. This is actually a tool holder. I'm just kind of finagled it into a brush holder, but be kind of cool to have something to clip onto it, so it's like a multi-tool.
Oh yeah, no, it'd definitely be awesome. All right, so we have a few minutes left. So thank you for all the comments. How about we give something away? So the first one, the first one. So we got 42 people watching and only 22 people entered in. What's going on? So hashtag Mega Mats. I'll give you one more minute just to get in. Facebook user, you cannot get in. You actually have to accept us as being your friend and able to see who you are, because there's 3 Facebook users on currently, and we wouldn't be able to give it away to the right one. The 3S is the 3S is a good idea. I agree.
Yeah, I like that. Cool. That's actually a really good idea.
There we go. So you got 30 seconds to get the Mega Mats in. And if the one Facebook user is John Blakely, which I think it is, you should be my friend already. I'm very
He must have unfriended you.
Yeah, he did. He probably
something bad.
Yeah, plug into your power. Oh man, Rick, that's another good idea. Plug it directly into the power supply. That would be cool. Yeah, for sure. I mean, who doesn't have a pile of 3S lipos? You must be a rock crawler, Dino, because that's a rock crawling thing is 3S for sure. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of 3S's there. All right. Okay, so we are up on the time. Let's give away. So the first one's going to be the small work mat. So good luck, everybody, and here we go.
Are we still having issues with that spinner there, Adam?
Cat Ascot. What do you mean?
Oh, well, you're freezing on your end, I think.
It did go down super slow with this one. Yeah, it's weird. It's just this program for whatever reason.
But we can see the winner, though. I'm seeing it.
Yeah? Okay, so congratulations to Kat. And now the next one is going to be for the 2x8. Good luck, everybody. Joseph Cannon.
He had a good question.
Great. Yeah, he had some good stuff. All right, so congratulations to our winner. I'm just going to get rid of that there. And
there you go. So much better. Well, good. Yeah, and for the winners, make sure you either message Adam or myself on Facebook so we can get your mailing address.
Yes, Heath is right. It's 5 by 9.75. I call it the 2x8 only because it's 2 squares by 8. So yes, it's definitely pretty cool. So Joseph, that's what you want. So definitely message either me or Tyler. Kat, I know Kat, so I will message Heath about that one. He loves it. The 2x8. Wait till he sees how I put my stickers on. Jeez Louise. Yeah, congrats everybody. So obviously we only touched on the surface of mats. We haven't gotten to the custom hybrids. We haven't gotten into the perfect placement. We haven't gotten into the mouse pads. We haven't gotten into the carbon series. So we are going to have one more show just on mats. I can't believe that I'm saying this.
Well, and that's because of the awesome participation from everybody on the show. So I mean, that's what we want. We'll stay here for the next 10 years and talk about mats if you want to.
No kidding.
And that's what we're here for. So keep the questions coming. Awesome comments, awesome content and interaction. This is what we had hoped for, and you guys are bringing it to us. So we love it, and we'll stay here as long as you'll have us.
Oh man, it was an awesome night, man. Tyler, thanks for hanging in there with me, and we will see you guys next time. Bye for now.
See you in 2 weeks.
20